What's going on, everybody? It's Suze with FullCourtPress, and today is Friday, February 26th, 2021, and I'm going to be bringing you guys a 9-game NBA slate today. Yesterday we did pretty well. I believe we went 4-2, and the day before that 5-1, day before that 5-0. We're on a hot streak. Like I said, you don't have to bet every single game on the slate. Find a couple good ones, stick with those. I will break down every single game, but the ones that I'm not betting on, I'll tell you my lean is, because I'd be leaning that way if I was to bet on it. But when I say my lean is, that's what that means. And then when I tell you guys, my pick is going to be, then that's actually what I got money on, what I got action on for this day. All right, getting into this first game today, we have the Indiana Pacers plus 3.5 versus the Boston Celtics, and that total is 218.5. In this game, for the Pacers, Karis LeVert and T.J. Warren continue to be out. T.J. Warren's been out since the beginning of the season. Karis LeVert was acquired in a trade, and when he went to do his physical to play for the Pacers after the trade, he ended up, they found something in his kidney and they had to do a surgery. He bounced back fine, but he won't be back until next season. So those two will continue to be out. On the Celtics side of the ball, we got Marcus Smart and Kemba Walker will both be out. Kemba Walker's missed a couple games recently, and then Marcus Smart's been out for a while. I think he's targeting mid-March for his comeback. And both of those guys are point guards. The Celtics team without a point guard, they've been struggling this season. They haven't really looked like themselves. They're dropping games to teams that they shouldn't be losing to at all. So I think Marcus Smart defensively and Kemba Walker to run the floor, they're really missing out on this season. Head-to-head this season, these teams met twice already, and the series is tied 1-1. The Celtics and Pacers played a back-to-back in late December. I believe it was the 27th and the 29th of December. First game was in Indiana, and the Pacers were able to take that one at home, 108-107. Domantas Sabonis scoring the go-ahead bucket to win that game by 1. In the first game, Tatum led the Celtics with 25 points and 11 rebounds. Sabonis led the Pacers with 19 points and 10 rebounds. The next time these teams saw each other was just 2 days later. The second game was also in Indiana, so both of these games were in Indiana. Pacers winning the first one, but in this second game, the Celtics were able to come out and get revenge with a 116 to 111 win over the Pacers. In this second meeting, Jason Tatum led the Celtics with 27 points, 11 rebounds. For the Pacers, Sabonis had 14 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists, almost getting himself a triple-double in that game. In the early matchups in these first two games that we've seen these teams play against each other, we did see guys like Marcus Smart, T.J. Warren, Victor Oladipo, Jeff Teague, and none of those four players that I just named are going to be in the game today. Marcus Smart is hurt. T.J. Warren's hurt. The Pacers traded Victor Oladipo away, and then Jeff Teague, I believe, was traded to the Atlanta Hawks. So none of those guys are going to be in this game, so I think we're going to get a different look from both of these teams, a little different look from the first two meetings in the season. But both of these teams are both trying to turn the corner right now and get back to playing winning basketball. For me, this one's a toss-up, but my lean here is going to be with the Boston Celtics minus 3.5. They're at home. I think they're the better team. They should get it done here. And then I'm going to take this one in the under 218.5. I just don't think either one of these teams is really scoring at a high clip right now, so the under feels safer to me. But my lean, that's just a lean. So my lean is going to be the Celtics minus 3.5 and the under 218.5. Getting to the second game of the day, we got the Houston Rockets versus the Toronto Raptors, and the total here is 220.5. You got for the Rockets, Christian Wood, Dante Exum, and Clemens all out. And then on the Raptors side of the ball, there's no injuries on the list today. I didn't see any, at least, when I went to go check. In the last 5 games, the Houston Rockets are 0-5. They can't get a win. They just don't seem to be on the same page. And then Toronto Raptors are 3-2 in the last 5 games. They beat but out of those 3 wins in the last 5 games, they won 3, they lost 2. Out of those 3 wins, they got 2 wins over Milwaukee Bucks and the other one over the Philadelphia 76ers. So they're able to knock off 2 top 5 teams, or top 10 teams within, a couple days. This Toronto team has really been turning the corner here. Fred VanVleet, he's been balling, even with Kyle Lowry out. I believe he's back. Like I said, there was no injuries on the report for this team. I'm not really too confident in either one of these teams. My lean here would be Raptors -7.5 in the over 220.5. 220.5 is just too low for the way that these teams play. No defense, they just push the ball, score. I guess my lean here would be -7.5. That's where I'd be leaning against the spread. But I think I'd go on the limb and say I'm going to throw a little bit of money today on the Raptors, just money line, just to win this game. I believe as far as the center and power forward position go, I think the Raptors have I think they have an advantage here with Chris Boucher and a lot of these other guys that are matchup problems for this Houston Rockets team without Christian Wood and a couple of their other guys not being able to give it a go. The next game here, we got Sacramento Kings versus the Detroit Pistons, and that total is 224.5. We got the Kings. Jabari Parker and Hassan Whiteside are out today. And then on the Pistons side of the ball, DeLon Wright, Blake Griffin, Jahlil Okafor, and Hayes are all out. This game here, I didn't even really look into too much. This game is a definition of a coin flip to me. Detroit is a terrible team. I don't even think they have double-digit wins this year. I think they're like 9-20-something. Sacramento Kings been on a downslide, losing left and right. Just can't get it together. I'm not going to be betting this game today, but if I had to take a side, my lean's going to be with Detroit plus the 1. This Detroit team is at home. They've surprised us and beat a couple teams early, but they just can't consecutively get wins on a nightly basis. But they are at home against a bad Kings team, so I'm going to take Detroit plus the 1 and then go over the 224.5. Sacramento Kings are terrible on defense. If Detroit could get 1 or 2 extra guys going, they go over that easily. This next game here, we got the Utah Jazz -6 versus the Miami Heat. At the time that I was looking at this, I didn't have a total. I wouldn't want to bet anything but the under here anyways. This is the Utah Jazz team that plays good defense. They have been scoring a lot of points lately, but they're going against a Miami team that doesn't score points, and they don't allow other teams to score as many points. They've hit a lot of unders this season. For the Utah Jazz, they have Azubuike and Elijah Hughes out today. For the Heat, Avery Bradley and Myers Leonard continue to be out. Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero questionable, so these two are going to be big ones. Keep an eye on these injuries. If Miami Heat even want to compete with the Jazz are the best team in the NBA right now, so if the Miami Heat even want to compete in this game, keep it close. You're going to want Bam Adebayo in there. You're going to want Tyler Hero in there. So keep an eye on these injuries. They're going to be questionable probably up until shoot-around, so look for like an hour before the game to see who's actually in, see who's a full go. Head-to-head this season, the Jazz are 1-0. These teams met on February 13th in Utah, and Utah won that game 112-94. The Heat were led by Kendrick Nunn in this game with 23 points. Nobody else even broke 20. And then Donovan Mitchell on the other side of the ball led the Jazz to a double-digit win with the team high 26 points. Both of these teams running hot right now. The Heat won 4 out of the last 5. The Jazz won 4 out of the last 5. I think this Jazz team comes in here. This Heat team is barely turning the corner. Like they got all their players back from COVID protocol, most of them. They're getting Dragic back. They're getting, a lot of these pieces back. But this is going to be like these guys, haven't even played like 10 games this year. You know what I mean? They're still trying to get in the swing of things, and even once you get all your guys out here, you're still going against a Jazz team that's number one in the NBA right now, the hottest team in the league by far. Yeah, I just think the Jazz get it done here convincingly, and they show us all why they're the NBA's hottest team right now. My pick's going to be the Jazz -6 on the road versus the Miami Heat. And that's one of my big picks of the day, actually. This next game here is also one of my bigger picks of the day. We have the Phoenix Suns -5.5 versus the Chicago Bulls, and this total is 228. For the Suns, Jalen Smith is out. Dario Saric is questionable today. Dario Saric is a big key player on the Suns team, coming off the bench, adding that spark. As a big man who can shoot threes, grab rebounds, he's really vital to this team. I mean, against this Bulls team, obviously the Bulls haven't been great this season, so the Suns could easily get it done here without Saric. But just with Saric, is just adding another wrinkle into this second squad's offense. Able to give these starters a rest and not lose anything when he comes out onto the floor, if you know what I mean. Like, this guy's putting up 20 points off the bench, and when he does, this team wins convincingly and easily every day or every time they play. On the Bulls side of the ball, Hutchinson, Markkanen, and Porter are all out. Those are three key players on this team. This Bulls team has been able to get it done against some of the better teams in the league, winning in overtime or by 2 or by 3. The Bulls are a tricky team. Wendell Carter Jr. back, he's tough. If Kobe White gets going, he's tough. If Zach LaVine gets going, he's tough. Thaddeus Young gets going, he's tough. They got tough, gritty players who come out to play every single night, so you can never count these guys out. But the Phoenix Suns on the other side of the ball are also one of the hottest teams in the league. They're just playing out of their mind right now, especially just think about it. Think about their starting five. They got Chris Paul at the 1, a veteran point guard, got that midi going. He's getting assists. He's throwing oops. He's teaching these young guys how to ball. Then you got Devin Booker, just incredible. This kid, his leap every year in this league is tremendous. Since he's came into the league, I think every single year we're seeing a new wrinkle that he brings into his offense and improves every single year. And he's going to be really great, in the years to come. And hopefully win a championship. He's a guy I've been watching since college, and he's a really good player, man. I like the way he plays. He plays aggressive. He plays hard. And he's not just shooting the whole game. He goes to the basket. He's adding these different wrinkles to his game that make him a more complete player. And then you got DeAndre Ayton, a young guy, big center. He could shoot the midi. He could shoot the 3. He could go to the basket. He's a big body. This team presents a lot of matchup problems for a lot of teams, especially a hurt Bulls team. The Bulls are on a 3-game winning streak right now, so they're running hot at the moment. And the Suns coming off a 3-point tough loss to the Hornets. They were just down. They were down probably 10 or 15 points all game. Ended up coming back and then losing by 3 in a tough loss to the Hornets. The Hornets, they're a surprising team, man. I don't really read too much into that as Phoenix doing something wrong. I think that game was just the Hornets doing everything right. Just like the other night when the Hornets played against the Golden State Warriors, my team, and scary Terry Rozier hits a game winner. These aren't things you can predict. This team isn't doing that great this season. The Hornets, that is. And they came and they beat the Suns by 3. They beat the Warriors by 3. It happens, man. It's basketball. It happens. But I can't read too much into the Suns coming off a 3-point loss. This team has been hot. This team's been going crazy. It happens. I'm looking for them to bounce back here, come in aggressive. I think it's the perfect game for the bounce back spot. My pick here is going to be the Phoenix Suns -5.5 on the road versus Chicago in the over 228. Like I said, Chicago shoots a lot of 3-pointers. Phoenix Suns, when they get hot, when they get going, they score a lot of points. That 228 is too low. So my pick here is the Phoenix Suns -5.5 on the road versus Chicago in the over 228. All right, so get into this next game here. This is one of the games we lost yesterday. We went 4-2. I don't know. I don't know, man. The Clippers yesterday laid a stinker, bro. Like, it was all the stats lined up for the Clippers to win. They had all their key players. Memphis is still a little hurt. But let's get into some of these stats here and try to explain what happened yesterday. So today we have the Los Angeles Clippers -6 versus the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are at home, just like they were yesterday. For this game, for the Clippers, Patterson and Lou Will are out. For Memphis, Jackson Jr. and Tilly are out. Winslow questionable. These teams just faced off yesterday. The Grizzlies were able to come away with a win, 122-94, which is a 28-point win. For the Clippers, not one person on their roster broke 20 points. And I'm telling you, they had Paul George out there. They had Kawhi out there. They're basically healthy besides Lou Williams. And none of these guys came to play. Just terrible shooting night, terrible performance night. The bench didn't do good. The starters didn't do good. They got in a hole early. They got down by 10 or 15 points, and just the Memphis Grizzlies never looked back. They took that one. They ran with it. This Memphis Grizzlies team isn't a slouch. They have some good players. They got Dillon Brooks back yesterday, which I told you guys in yesterday's video. If Memphis gets Dillon Brooks back, he's a key defensive and offensive player. He went crazy. Justice Winslow came back yesterday. He did his thing. It's, it was one of those games where everything had to go right for the Grizzlies and everything had to go wrong for the Clippers for that outcome to happen. And that's what happened. It's basketball. It's betting. You know what I mean? You hit, you lose, you hit, you lose. It happens, man. What we try to do here is study as much as possible. That way we can minimize that happening. So that one was kind of a buzzkill last night. Thought I was going to have another 5-0, 6-0 night, and then the Memphis Grizzlies come out and smack the shit out the Clippers. Who would have thought? A fully healthy Clippers. The trend here, though, on these back-to-backs, and you'll hear me say this time and time again in these videos because this is the trend this year. With COVID, a lot of teams play each other twice in 3 days, twice in 2 days, back-to-back. That way they limit the exposure of all these players coming in contact with each other to try to limit COVID-19. The trend on these back-to-backs, though, is whatever team loses the first game comes back to win the second game of the back-to-back convincingly, most times by double digits. I don't think I'll be taking this game today just because of what happened yesterday. And I know you're not supposed to go off recency bias, but, when something like that happens, kills your parlay, there's just certain teams that you want to stay off of until they prove otherwise. So I'm going to stay off this one. But my lean here, just because of the trend in the NBA, them getting their ass whooped yesterday, and Kawhi and Paul George, if they come out and put up 20 each, this is a much better game, closer game, winnable game. And the Grizzlies just had to have everything going right at the time for that outcome to happen. Does lightning strike twice in the same spot? I don't know how that shit goes, how that saying goes, but you know what I mean. My lean here would have to be to the LA Clippers -6 on the road versus the Grizzlies, but I don't think I'm betting that one today at all. Like, shit irritating. This next game, we got the Atlanta Hawks -3.5 versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. And this total here is 223.5. For the Hawks, DeAndre Hunter, Bogdanovich, and Dunn are all out. Cam Reddish is questionable in this game. On the Thunder side of the ball, Horford, Diallo, George Hill, Ty Jerome, and Trevor Ariza are all out. This game, for me, I have little to no interest in. I can't lay points here with the Hawks on the road. The Hawks got to win by 4. They're on the road facing the Thunder. That doesn't sound good to me at all. You never know which Hawks team is going to show up. They, like this 3-game series with the Celtics, they beat them 2 out of 3 games. One game they come in, they smack them by 20-something. The other game they come in, they lose. Then the next game they come in and win by 4. But that was only because the Celtics weren't playing well, not because the Hawks were playing good. You never know night in, night out what you're going to get from this team. And I just can't put my money on a team that I have no confidence in. Not betting this game at all either. But my lean here is going to be to the Oklahoma City Thunder, plus 3.5 at home, in the over 223.5. Typically when there's a coin flip game, it's a 50-50. In the home team, they're giving you, 3.5, 4 points. That's a 2-possession ball game. My lean is going to have to go with the home team. They're giving them 2 possessions. They could lose by 3 and still win the game for you. They're at home. They're playing another team that you don't have too much confidence in. I just typically lean with the home team, underdog with the points in those type of situations. And then that over 223, both of these teams could get it going. And the lack of defense on the Hawks side of the ball makes it so that they're up and down the court. A lot of possessions per 100. A lot of points per 100 possessions is what they have. Let's see. This next game, one of my favorite games of the day, we have the Charlotte Hornets plus 6.5 versus the Golden State Warriors, and this total is 231.5. Like you guys all know, I'm a Warriors fan, born and raised, San Francisco. But one thing you don't do in this betting shit is be a homer. You have to do your research. You have to get the numbers. You have to, all this shit has to be right for you to bet on your own team. And I learned that the hard way when I first came and started betting. When I first got started betting out here, before I was handicapping, before I was even studying, and I was just a casual and I was betting as a fan. I was taking. When we had Klay Thompson, we had everybody a couple years back. I'm taking Warriors minus 12, shit like that, and the Warriors will win by 9, or 10. Take the 49ers to win, and they lose, shit like that, man. So just stay off these homer teams if sorry, 1 second. Gotta plug this in so it don't die, yeah. Stay off the homer teams unless you have the research and the knowledge and you're actually betting from knowledge and not just because you like the team, it's your home team. But here we got the Charlotte Hornets plus 6.5 versus the Golden State Warriors. This total is 231.5. On the Hornets side of the ball, Devontae Graham, one of the Martin twins, are out. Cody Zeller's questionable. That's one to look at. You want to see if Cody Zeller's going to be in there. He's been impactful this season for this team. If he's out there ready to give it a go, that's going to change some things. But on the other side of the ball, the Warriors, Marquise Chris continues to be out. Smilagic and Klay Thompson out, obviously. One thing I will say, though, is the Warriors do have... the Warriors got back Wiseman and Looney. And both of these guys can easily deal with Cody Zeller. I don't see any problem there at all. Head-to-head this season, we kind of talked about this earlier when talking about the Hornets. Head-to-head this season, how they're beating teams by 3. Head-to-head this season, the Hornets are 1-0, winning their first meeting over the Warriors 102-100 off of a scary Terry Rozier game-winning 3 in the corner. In that matchup, though, Steph Curry didn't play in that game due to illness, and we still only lost by 2 off of a game winner by Scary Terry. They're down by 1. The Hornets are down by 1. He hits a 3 in the corner to win it. If he doesn't do that, the Warriors win without Steph Curry. Simple. But he didn't play in that match. He's going to come to play today. They got both of their centers back. I think the Warriors in today's game at home, this is going to be a vendetta or a revenge narrative, whatever you want to call it. I think they come out hot. I think they grabbed the lead here. I think they never looked back after the first quarter. I'll be taking Golden State Warriors to win the game. That's my more confident bet. Um, but if you want to sprinkle a little bit of -6.5 in there or -6 wherever you find it at your website or wherever you bet at, 6.5, that's not bad. That's not a bad number for this Warriors team that could really put some points up. And losing by 2 without Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry is easily a bucket. He's a walking bucket. He's a 30 point a night easily. Easy bucket. With that 30 points, that would have been a blowout. And then I'll take it in the under 231.5. These teams only put up 202. Yeah, it was without Stephen Curry, but 232 basically is what they got to score. That's like 58 points a quarter, 60 points a quarter. Both of these teams are able to do it. So more of my confidence is on this Golden State Warriors money line and -6.5. But if I had a lean, I would just lean to the under 231.5. For some reason, I have a feeling that one of these quarters, it'll be so much. What's the word? It's not tension, but like so much, or animosity. It's a word like that though. There's gonna be so much back and forth between these teams that maybe for a couple minutes there it gets personal. Maybe a technical foul or two. Some buckets stop going in, stop dropping during the third. These teams start getting tired. I don't know. Something's just telling me to go with the under 231.5 here. And betting for me, I don't got exact percentages, but like betting for me is like 60% study, 20%, gut intuition, and then the other 20% is just luck. It's betting. You got to get lucky sometimes. All right, the last game of the day on this 9-game slate is going to be the Portland Trailblazers +5.5 versus the Lakers, and the total here is 222. On the Blazers side of the ball, we got Giles, McCollum, Nurkic, and Collins. They're all going to be out today. On the Lakers side of the ball, Anthony Davis and Kostas Antetokounmpo are out. Giannis' little brother. And Anthony Davis, they're out. And then Schroeder's probable for this game. He should be coming back off an injury here, so look for that. Schroeder's a guy that could come out here and really run the offense for this Lakers team who's really lacking in offense right now. Looking real casual, looking like a real regular-ass NBA team without Anthony Davis, who went out with that Achilles injury. Head-to-head this season, the Portland Trailblazers are 1-0. The Blazers beat the Lakers in L.A. back on December 28th by a score of 115-107. Dame had 31 points, and McCollum added 20 himself. But a key player for Portland was Gary Trent Jr., who had 28 points off the bench. This guy went 10 for 14 from the field, 7 for 11 from the three-point line. That's crazy. For the Lakers, Anthony Davis had a quiet double-double with 13 points and 10 rebounds. And LeBron James had 29 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists, almost getting himself a triple-double. In today's contest, on both sides of the ball, they're missing a superstar. Anthony Davis on the Lakers side and McCollum on the Portland Trailblazers side. They'll both not be available today, along with a few others. Lakers are on a 4-game losing streak right now. The Blazers are on a 4-game losing streak right now. Sorry, Lakers on a 4-game losing streak. Blazers on a 3-game losing streak. Both of these teams are looking to turn it around in tonight's matchup. This one for me is a coin flip. You never know what could happen, man. You might get a Lakers team that comes out and LeBron is dominating. All his cast is bought in. Without Anthony Davis, they all step up and they get the win here against the Trailblazers team that's missing way more than the Lakers are. They're missing Giles, McCollum, Nurkic, Collins. They're missing 3 starters and a backup. But these guys come to play. They come to play every single day, these Trailblazers. So you can never count them out. This game's a coin flip, but my lean would have to be Portland Trailblazers plus the 5.5. So what I'm seeing here is you got 2 teams that are missing their superstars. Portland Trailblazers still have a winning record this season. McCollum went out early with that injury. The Portland Trailblazers still been getting it done against top 10 teams. It seems like every time they come to LA, they come to play. They're already 1-0 in this series, winning in LA last time. This game's in LA. Everything's lining up right now for the Trailblazers. They're looking good here. My lean would have to be Trailblazers plus 5.5 on the road versus an injured, exhausted Lakers team. And then the over 222. Anytime you look at guys like Dame, guys like Steph Curry, guys like Luka, these guys could fill it up any given night. And make the players not only fill it up by themselves, but make the players around them better. These players feed off of these guys. You know, they're not the type of guys that just go out and get 50 by themselves and like Giannis and the rest of the team gets 10 and you lose. These are guys that motivate their team. They put their team in great positions. They also pass the ball and get assists at a high clip. So these two teams could hit that under relatively frequently. These teams frequent the over. Quick recap of today's daily best bets, picks, and parlays. Today I only have 3 picks for you guys that I'm super confident in. I know there's 9 games. I only got 3 picks. For the other 6 games, I have leans. I either give you a lean or a pick for each game. If I say lean, I'm not betting it. If I say pick, I'm betting it. My 3 bets of today are going to be the Utah Jazz -6 versus the Miami Heat. I think this Utah Jazz team is hot right now. They're leading the NBA, and they're going up against a Miami team that, sure, they won 3 out of 4 of the last game, or 3 out of 5 of the last games, but you know they're not the same Miami Heat team. They look beat up. There's a couple teams this season that look real beat up from the playoffs because they had so little time off coming into this season. Miami Heat, the Lakers, there's a couple teams here, the Bucks. There's a couple teams here that look beat up, man, at this point in the season. Utah Jazz got fresh legs. Miami Heat look beat up. I'm taking Utah Jazz -6 here to beat the Miami Heat at home. This next game, the Phoenix Suns -5.5 versus the Chicago Bulls. I think the Phoenix Suns are right up under the Jazz right there with the best teams in the NBA. They're playing at Chicago, but this is a Chicago team that middle of the pack, not too impressive. They beat a couple teams. You know, they win here and there by a game winner, by 2 or by 3. They go to overtime. I think this Phoenix Suns team comes in here and gets it done easily. -5.5. Take it, set it, bet it. Come back later to get your money, man. This last game of the day is I'm going to take my Golden State Warriors money line versus the Charlotte Hornets. I think the Golden State Warriors come in here and get it done tonight. They're a lot healthier than they have been in the past. The last time these teams faced each other, the Charlotte Hornets only won by 2. Stephen Curry did not participate in that game. Scary Terry won it for him with a game winner. I think the Warriors come out here with Stephen Curry, with Wiseman, with Looney, with a vengeance. They come out here, they smack them in the first quarter, never look back. I know my guy Jay Money and Junior Brown and Blackjack and them over there at Sportsbook Review, SBR Sportsbook. They do a review talk show every day, kind of like I do. I watch these guys a lot. And I know these guys, some of their picks some days, like Junior today got the Clippers in the trifecta. If I was to pick a trifecta today, it would be the Golden State Warriors. Trifecta meaning you could take say the game right here for the Warriors is -6.5, right? So you could take the total for the full game. At halftime, the total, so if the total is, what was it? Let me see. Here, let me just give you guys the rundown. Okay, so the total is 231.5, so 232. So at halftime, the total would be 116, right? Because that's half of the full game. 116. So then you cut that 116 in half, and you got 58, right? So the first quarter total to go over 58, the halftime total to go over 116, and the full game total to go over 232. That would be a trifecta. Or you could take the point spread and you take Golden State Warriors, they got to win by 7, right? So at halftime, the line would probably be -4. They'd have to be up by 4 at halftime. And then the first quarter line would be -2. So a trifecta here would be take the Warriors to be winning by 2 or more in the first quarter, to be winning by 4 or more at halftime, and then to be winning the full game by 7 or more. That's a trifecta. You take them all the way across to win all the bets because you think this team's going to come out here and smack them in the first quarter, smack them at halftime, smack them in the full game. You have all your confidence on that. That's a trifecta. My trifecta of the day would have to be the Golden State Warriors, man. Most definitely. And then, I like to play around with some underdogs. My underdog of the day, if you guys are looking for underdogs and want to get some good odds on the game today, I'd look into the Portland Trailblazers to beat the Lakers outright tonight. I think this Lakers team is hurt. They're looking real casual. They're looking, like they're running out of gas already. That could be because of a shortened offseason, or that could just be because they're tired. You know what I mean? You're missing a superstar. You're missing a couple other guys. You're going up against some of the best teams in the NBA. They're playing a lot more games within a 7-day, week. They're playing a lot more condensed this season because of COVID. So you'll see a lot more games within these couple days. And the travel and all this shit adds up at the end of the day. If you're looking for an underdog, Portland Trailblazers got the type of scrappy team to come in here and get it done, especially against an injured Lakers team. And the Trailblazers, for some reason, love playing against the Lakers at home. But that's it for me, you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys. We just hit 1.1K watch time in minutes. So you guys are showing love, man. I appreciate that. I seen that K next to it. I'm like, yeah, okay. But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys aren't signed in, take a couple seconds, man. Sign in, to put your email in, put your password in, sign in, hit the subscribe button. It really helps out a lot. Like, comment. Let me know what you guys think about these picks. Let me know if you guys placed a bet today, if you have a pick of your own. I'm really interested in making this more of a discussion type of thing instead of me just coming on here and talking, letting you guys know what I studied. I'd like to know if you guys got a lean anywhere or if you guys got any picks for today. But once again, I appreciate the love and support. Good luck to everybody. I hope you guys win some money. I hope these picks help you guys win some money. And I'm out.